There we go. Hey guys, sorry for being a little bit late. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, so I'm just gonna wait and see if anybody shows up, and hopefully soon we can get started. Let me just go ahead and leave a comment here for anybody showing up. There we go. Now we will just go ahead and wait and see who shows up. But in the meantime, I figured it would be a good time to talk about the fact that it is Pride Month. And for anybody out there who doesn't know what that means that, yay, LGBT pride. Well, LGBT plus pride. Hey, welcome. Any thoughts or questions? Anything you want to talk about for this stream as we celebrate Pride Month, and any other questions anybody might want to have answered? Doing pretty well. We've had some issues with technology today because it wasn't wanting to go live, but otherwise we're doing pretty good. How are you doing? And if you can hear the garbage truck in the background, we apologize for that. It's garbage day. Glad you're good also, and thank you. That's very nice of you. Hello there, Long Soul System. Nice to see you. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, but it is Pride Month, LGBT plus Pride Month. So, we were going to talk a little bit about what that means for us personally and answer any questions anybody might have, and just, a good general talk for anybody who wants to have anything answered or anybody wants to talk to us in person. But yeah, for us, Pride Month is a big deal because a lot of the members of our system fall somewhere on the LGBT plus spectrum. We have people who are asexual, people who are bisexual, people who are gay, people who are straight, people who are somewhere else but aren't really sure yet, so they're still questioning. And we've just got quite the myriad of different sexual orientations and identities over here. What about you guys? Do you guys have any experiences with Pride Month, or any, positive personal experiences in general that you'd like to talk about? Or any questions you'd like to ask? Awesome. Yeah, I saw Dissociated's video. I have not seen your guys's. Definitely would have to look at that. I will definitely check that out, or whoever's out will check it out. And it definitely is. It's very important to talk about the various diversity in different members of the system, and how that can really have an effect on the way that you feel in the body. because I know plenty of our system members get at least mild dysphoria about having different things going on out here. Not necessarily with gender so much, more with things like height or build, but it can definitely be something that's not really very fun for some people. Yeah, it definitely does get complicated, and it can be really hard to try to find the right balance to make it so that everybody feels as comfortable as possible, especially when, you're unfortunately not real liquid financially at the moment like we are, so we can't go out and just buy everybody all the cool clothes that, they'd really like that would make them feel the most comfortable. Because, when you have a child, which I do, you have to spend a large amount of your money taking care of them. So that means that, sometimes the things that you might like to buy for yourself or the others in the system kind of get put to the wayside. And, that's something, though, that we're hoping we can change in the future so that everybody can feel more comfortable, get people more clothing and different things like that that they feel comfortable in. Because we used to have some, but unfortunately, our body had a growth spurt and then they didn't fit anymore. And we just were never able to replace them. Ah, my glasses are falling off. Sorry, don't mind me. My glasses are just slipping down my nose today and they don't want to stay, and I don't know why. Oh, let's see. How many people fall somewhere on the LGBT in our system? Well, there's almost 1,000 of us, including people who consider themselves fragments. And I don't have direct communication with all of them, so I can't answer for some people. But I do know that a good 50-60% of the people that I am in communication with fall somewhere on the LGBT spectrum. Possibly even more than that. It might be closer to 75%. So if I were to go with a number, I'd probably say out of the 200 or so people I'm aware of, it's probably like 150 people fall somewhere on the LGBT spectrum. Being such a large system, it does kind of make it hard sometimes to keep track of these things. Yes, there are. In fact, two of our system members, Berserker and Kaylee, are in a relationship, and they're both girls. And then we have a lot of close friendships, and we also have some relationships between our system and my husband's system that are very much LGBT also. Yeah, it's certainly possible that you could have something going on. I cannot pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Uh, Care, is that how you pronounce your name? But it's certainly possible. I mean, you probably want to get that checked. I mean, if you think that you might need to have a diagnosis, it'd probably be a really good idea. And I will say that a lot of times I say we instead of I because, there are a lot of us. So it's not really uncommon in multiplicity to say we instead of I. It's just something we try to be careful about whenever we're out in public because people tend to get a little side eye on you when you start talking about more than one person when you refer to yourself. Because unfortunately, the world's not as accepting as it could be, which is part of why we have this channel, is because we want the world to be a better, more accepting place for people with DID and just mental health in general. Yes, we do have ears and tail. And you have them too. That's awesome. Hello. Yeah, I mean, every system is different in terms of how everybody is configured, and I'm sorry that you're the only one who's got ears and a tail in your system. I can assume that that's probably not the most fun ever when you feel a little bit on the outside. But I'm sure that the reason you are that way is because that is what your system needs. So, you are valid and perfect just the way you are. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not always a kind world, and it's not always an understanding world. And thank you so much. That's very nice of you. Oh, really? We have the same name. My name's also Kit. That's awesome. Well, it's nice to meet you. We have the same name. Yeah, yeah, we've definitely done that lots of times. Switch between I and we in one sentence, or say I and then change to we and go back and forth, and never quite sure exactly what we're talking about half the time. I'm glad you're excited. I find that really exciting too. It's not a lot of people that, have the same name as me. It's not a very common name as far as I can gather. But yeah, I can see how that could make you nervous. We get pretty nervous when other people are looking at us going, "Wait, did you just say we?" We're like, "Oh, no. No, you must have misheard me. I didn't say that." Because we are open with people that we're close to about the DID, and anybody who's comfortable coming out and talking to other people directly will do that. But if it's somebody that we don't know really well, then we've learned it's just better to be safe rather than sorry, because we have unfortunately had some negative experiences with people being very not okay about us. So we try really hard to just be watchful of who we talk to out in the open. Yeah, if you have a significant other, you can definitely play it off that way. It's definitely easier that way. A lot of times we do that too because, you know, I'm married to another man who has DID, so it kind of makes it an inside joke that when we say we, it's which we are we referring to. Though his system is significantly smaller than our system. So, we definitely have fun with that. We go back and forth, and different members of his system hang out with different members of our system. It's kind of nice, it means that we can understand each other in a way that maybe we couldn't if we didn't have the same diagnosis. We definitely figured out about the LGBT spectrum before the DID because I was aware of the others when we were really young, and then amnesiac barriers came down really hard when we got a little bit older, and then I wasn't aware of them anymore, and I figured out that I was on the LGBT spectrum as a young teenager and just slowly but surely figured out exactly where I fit. In fact, we made a whole video all about discovering sexual orientation if you want to check that out. But it took a while to figure out exactly where I fit and where I was comfortable personally. And then once I started to get to know the others, I started noticing, wow, a lot of them are also somewhere on the LGBT spectrum. So it was really nice to know that I wasn't the only one in our group. You know, it helped to feel like we have some community, some belonging, even if the outside world isn't always accepting. Yep, 3 different we's all at the same time. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the video. So definitely check that out and let us know. Comment. You know, we love to hear comments from all of you guys and anybody else who's watching. We really like to know what you guys think, if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to see, because we really want to get as much input from anybody who's watching our stuff as possible, because we want to make this channel as inclusive and welcoming as we possibly can, because we really want to get the message out there that having DID is not like in the movies, it's not like Hollywood, you know, that we're not scary, and that being LGBT is not bad either, that it's just a different way of being, you know. People don't fit into boxes. We don't need to all be the same. We don't need to all be one way. And honestly, our hope as a system is that we can find a world where everybody is accepting, at least in the sense that if they have a negative opinion, they keep it to themselves and don't tell it to your face. You know, that's the world that we hope to see someday, where people are at least polite, even if they don't agree with the way you live your life. Yeah, amnesia is definitely not fun, and it's definitely not an okay time when you realize that, oh my goodness, I've just missed this chunk of time. Where did that go? That's definitely no fun. And I'm really sorry that you have dealt with that too, because amnesia is not a fun time. It's not at all. We used to have huge chunks of missing time for me personally, where I'd be like, oh, hey, it's November, but it's really September or January, and I have no idea what the heck is going on anymore. Um, Yeah, it's possible that you have OSDD 1A or B. I remember that in 1A, it's that there is not as distinct a difference between one system member and the next, but there is amnesia. And in 1B, there is very distinct individuals, but there isn't amnesia. Or, but there is amnesia. I mean, or isn't. I don't know. Now I'm getting confused. Sorry. The wonders of DID brain. My brain goes, what was I talking about? Oh, wait, I don't know. Sorry about that. Let me try that again. With OSDD 1A, you have individual system members that are not as distinct from one another. And then in OSDD 1B, you have system members that are very distinct from each other, but there is not the amnesia. So it's definitely something to get looked into. You know, if you're concerned that that is going on for you guys, it's definitely good to get the diagnosis worked out, because it can help make things so much easier to know exactly what's going on, because it makes a difference in what might work better to help all of you guys heal and, you know, deal with the trauma. Knowing exactly what's the mechanism behind everything, it definitely makes a big difference, at least in our experience. Thank you. Yes, thank you for correcting me on that one. B has no amnesia. Yes, I am having a day where my memory is not the greatest right now. I don't really know why. It just happens sometimes. And yeah, amnesia in the middle of a lesson is not fun. I had that happen several times when I was in school, and I would be sitting there in the middle of a class and I'm looking down and I'm like, okay, well, we have notes that are right here, but I don't know what any of them are talking about, and I don't remember any of this lesson or what's going on. And well, this is interesting. That actually happened a lot junior year of high school, where we were living in a very small town, and I found myself sitting in the middle of class in German class specifically. So I'm learning a foreign language, which makes it all the more entertaining. And I have absolutely no idea what the teacher's even talking about. I don't know what she's saying. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what's going on. It was really not very fun. And, living in such a small town, it didn't help that they weren't really very accepting of LGBT plus people either. So that was quite a time. Thankfully, we now live in a much more accepting place than we did then. Yeah, that's definitely not fun when, you're sitting there at the start of a lesson and then you miss the whole middle part and then you're at the end going, what was I supposed to be doing? I still I have not been in formal schooling for quite a few years now, and I still have nightmares that I go to school and don't know what's going on and can't find any of my classes and can't remember my locker combination. And it was a seriously terrifying experience because it would happen where, you know, we'd get to school and I'd be the one out and I would have no idea where I was supposed to go. I used to have to go up to the front office fairly frequently and get a copy of my schedule just to find out where I was supposed to be because I couldn't remember. So I definitely feel you on that one. That's not a fun time. Oh yeah, exams. That's yeah. Yes, yes, we do actually have stuff like that. Um where it's like part of the memory gets lost in translation or something. And I can remember, say, for instance, that we were doing something, but I don't remember what the heck we were doing or where we were, what exactly was going on. I just remember that we did a thing. Or sometimes the others, if they've missed something specific, they'll show up and they're like, okay, well, I know we were doing something, but what were we doing? It's like when there's a switch, something gets lost. Not really sure where it goes, but yeah, we've definitely experienced that, and it's not a fun time. Oh, that's fine. Go ahead, enjoy your lunch. It's lunchtime for a lot of people, I'm sure, because it's 11:26 a.m. here. I have no idea what time it is where all of you guys are. We try to pick a time that's, less bad in terms of the time differences between different states and countries and places, but unfortunately, you know, the time differences being what they are, we can only do so much. But enjoy your lunch. Yeah, it's interesting to have memories just disappear on you and you don't really know exactly what happened to them. It's like they just get sucked into the void somewhere. Yes, yeah, we do actually have um someone in our system who is very homophobic, and he's actually got a lot of isms. He doesn't like pretty much anybody that we can gather. He expresses thoughts that are very sexist and homophobic and racist and other things like that. And we're like, oh my goodness, because none of the rest of us feel like that about any of these things. And we're like, oh God, this is awkward. So we do our best to just keep him inside, and we're working with him on learning that it's okay to be angry at the things that happen to us, but you don't need to hate everybody else. That they didn't have anything to do with it. It's not their fault. You don't need to hate us either. We didn't do it. But yeah, it's not an easy one to deal with when you have a system member who's very hateful and says very, very not nice things. And we do have another system member who he is bisexual, and he's very, very staunchly against appearing feminine in any way. He feels like he needs to be very, very masculine and manly, and if he's not, then he feels like a failure, and then he gets angry. And so there's definitely a little bit of a homophobic slant there, though I don't think he means to be. I think it's just his own internalized fears, as far as we can tell. Yeah. Yeah, when you're going somewhere and all of a sudden you're there and you don't remember how you got there, that is kind of scary, because you're left wondering what on earth just happened in the middle of all of this. Did I do something? Did somebody go somewhere? What happened? It's not fun. And it's part of the reason why we don't drive, because some of our trauma is focused around driving and cars. And so that makes it an incredibly anxiety producing situation. So I can't drive because I get way too anxious and I panic and then I dissociate and I miss things. And that's really not the greatest moment ever. One of our system members, Kaylee, actually can drive, but because we don't have a license, she doesn't. Yeah, I mean, unless there was an emergency or something, if there was like a medical emergency, she needed to get somebody to the hospital, then she could drive the car. But not having a license, we just avoid that. Figure it's probably better. And I apologize for this, but I need to make a quick trip to the restroom, so I will be right back. Sorry about that. Ooh, I'm so sorry that you got hit by a car. That's that's terrible. Were you injured, or were you okay? Hello there, lovely Rebecca. Nice to see you. Oh, nearly hit by a car. Oh, thank goodness. That would have been bad. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm so sorry that that happened. That must have been absolutely terrifying. I mean, we almost got hit by a car once when we were about 9, but that was mostly due to a kid who was about 16 speeding through the neighborhood way too fast. Yeah, that can definitely happen where you won't really remember exactly what's going on, and that can definitely be hard. Um, yeah, it's no fun when you just pop out and you don't really know exactly what's going on. That's not fun. Yeah, I bet your mom would have questioned if you got hit by a car. I'm pretty sure she would have been like, "What the heck happened to you?" I'm, I mean, as a parent, if my kid got hit by a car, I'd be freaking out. So I can definitely see why that would be no good. Oh, awesome! Thank you so much. That's really nice. I'm really glad that you like our videos. That's awesome. It always honestly it makes our day when you guys tell us that you enjoy what we make because we do work really hard on our videos and we really want them to be as good as we possibly can make them. So it really does mean a lot to have all of the support and the kindness that we receive from all of you guys. It really does. It means a lot. We really appreciate it. Hello. Yeah, in terms of it being Pride Month, one of the things that we wanted to talk about was the fact that we can deal with a lot of mixing of feelings sometimes, being such a large system. We will end up with times where we will be really deeply getting bleed through from somebody else, and whoever's out is feeling very dysphoric or very uncomfortable or is feeling very strong feelings that they don't normally feel towards a particular group of people, and it can definitely get very confusing. So that's one of the things that we hope that anybody out there who doesn't have DID or OSDD can understand is that it's not that we're moody or that we flip flop a lot. It's that we're a whole group of people, at least two in one body who have very different thoughts and feelings about things, and sometimes they all get kind of muddled, and then it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and you don't really know what's you and what's somebody else, and that can definitely be really hard, especially when it comes to sexual orientation, because you might find yourself feeling strongly gravitating towards someone that you normally wouldn't, and then you're uncomfortable and you don't know what to do. I mean, for me, being pansexual, I don't really have any sort of hangups about who I would feel attracted to because I find being attracted to whoever I'm attracted to. It's all based on the individual person and nothing to do with anything else. But some of our other system members do get really uncomfortable when they start feeling bleed through from someone who has a very different orientation than they do. So that's definitely a hard one. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely awesome how many great DID channels there are on YouTube now and how many people are working so hard to help educate and bring awareness. We were actually inspired to start this channel because of watching other YouTubers with DID and thinking, wow, well, if they can talk about their experiences and it's helping people, then maybe we could help people talking about our experiences. And that was actually a big push in why we decided to do this, is because we wanted to be another voice in the DID community who's speaking out and helping people to understand more, because I figure the more perspectives that are out there, the better. So, as far as we're concerned, the more people are talking about it, the better, as long as it's positive, open, polite communication, we're good with that. Yeah, blending is not an easy thing to deal with. It's definitely not fun. And I'm sorry that you personally have to experience a lot of difficulty with that. That's not a fun time. I'm honestly the one in our system who gets the most trouble from blending and bleed through because I'm the one who's out the most. And whenever anybody else gets close to the front, I get a lot of their feelings and thoughts and opinions without really being able to tell whose is whose, and it's not fun. It's very confusing. Um, have you tried talking to your system mates, seeing if maybe there's some sort of signal you could develop or something when you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all of what you're getting, and maybe they could back up just a little bit, give you a little bit of space so that you can reorient yourself? That might be something to try. I mean, we've certainly done that in the past and it's been helpful. So if that's something that would work for you guys, we really hope that would help. Oh, cool. Yeah, Dissociated is actually one of the channels that inspired us. And so when we saw they were doing a live stream, we just really wanted to let them know that, they were inspirational and that, they helped us to get that push to do this because it's something that we've thought about before and, we always were a little bit apprehensive. So being able to see that other people were out there doing it, it definitely made a huge difference. And yeah, being polyfragmented, we noticed that there was not a lot of other people who were talking about that. And we felt like that was definitely a needed perspective because DID is poorly understood by a lot of people in and of itself. Throw in polyfragmentation, and people start looking at you like you're making it up even more than they would otherwise because people can't wrap their heads around the idea of so many people in one body. It's very confusing to a lot of your average population. So, we're hoping that we're doing a good job showing people that, it's not really all that different from, you know, anything else. It's just a coping mechanism that your brain develops because that's what you need to survive. It's not weird and it's not out there. It's just what it is. Well, I'm really glad that you have a positive, open mind. That's awesome. Honestly, if the world was full of positive, open minded people who were willing to learn from others and listen, even if they didn't agree with everything that other people were saying, then I think the world would probably be a much better place. Because, I mean, really, what's the harm in listening? I mean, I know personally, I always try to be open minded with anybody else's experiences that they're telling me about, and I would never even consider attempting to speak on what someone else's experience is. And it always confuses me when I see people saying, oh, well, that can't be happening to you, or, oh, that couldn't have gone the way you say it went. It's like, how would you know? You weren't there. None of us were there. They were there. They are telling their experiences, and nobody has any right to ever invalidate that. So I think it's great that you're open-minded and that so many of you, whether you have DID or not, are willing to see somebody who's different from you and not be automatically making assumptions or negative connotations. I think that's great, and I really hope that someday the overall society of the world can be more open and accepting. Yeah, being undiagnosed can definitely be very scary, especially when you're not sure exactly what's going on. I mean, honestly, before we had a diagnosis, I was absolutely freaking out when I would hear the others talking because I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was insane and I was losing it and I didn't know what to think. So it's definitely scary when you don't have that diagnosis. And if you are able to I definitely urge you to seek some professional advice and try and get some sort of understanding of what's going on for sure, because it really does help. It's a huge burden off your shoulders when you know what's happening. If you don't have access to mental health services wherever you are, there are a lot of good online services that can at least help you work through different things. And depending on where you live, sometimes there can be free services you can avail yourself of. So definitely, if you have that option, I highly recommend it. It's very, very helpful to know what's going on. I'm sorry an ant scared you. Yeah, we have a lot of fear of bugs over here in our system. Some people really like certain insects and arachnids, and other people not so much. Like me personally, I really don't like bees or wasps. I'm absolutely terrified of them because when we were really young, we were stung, and it was apparently a very traumatic experience because that fear of wasps is something that most of us share, probably because it happened before we split. That's kind of the prevailing theory, is because that phobia developed before we all split off into the people that we are now. That's probably why that's shared, but it's not really something we can be 100% sure of. Oh, thank you, Darby. That's awesome. We really appreciate that. And I hope your errands go well. And thank you for subscribing. You have a good rest of your day. Oh yeah, it can be really hard when you're still working on developing good communication. That definitely is not easy. Um, have you guys tried maybe a written journal, or some sort of alternative method of communication other than internal communication? Maybe some you know Morse code, anything, whatever works best for you guys, because developing that communication, it is hard. It took us a long time to get where we're at. And there's still plenty of people in our system that I personally can't communicate with, and a lot of the people in the front can't communicate with. So it's definitely a hard journey to get that communication going. And we all really hope that you can find something that'll help, because it's not a fun time when you can't communicate when you need to. That's very difficult. I'm sorry that you're going through that. Well, I'm glad that it wasn't a spider, because spiders are actually kind of creepy. It's just not, they bite, and some of them are venomous. I'm glad it wasn't a spider. Glad you're good now, though. Yeah, I can see it can definitely be scary to confide in a mental health professional when you're thinking that something might be going on. Um, if you feel uncomfortable confiding in them by talking about it, you could try writing a letter, or maybe emailing them when you don't have to look at them face to face. Sometimes that can really help. We've actually talked to lots of other systems who've done that because they were afraid to be open with their therapists about what was going on, or lots of people with other mental health conditions have said that they felt more comfortable. So maybe that's something you could try. Just send an email, a text, leave a phone message, just something where you don't have to directly be face to face. It can really take a lot of that pressure off. Yeah, phobias are hard. They are. It's not easy. I mean, there were times when, for us, the phobia was so bad, some of us were almost completely terrified to even go outside because there might be wasps or bees, because we do live in a place where there are a fair number of them, especially during the summertime. And there were times where we were becoming a little bit agoraphobic. We didn't want to go outside. We were afraid to leave the house. It was not good. So we've had to work really, really hard to be able to be okay. But definitely backsliding happens with any sort of phobia. It's really easy to take those steps backwards. The only thing that I can really recommend is just keep working on it and just keep doing what you're doing and trying your best because that's all you can really do. It's definitely not an easy thing. And, because bees and wasps are something that can actually physically hurt, it's a lot harder to do things like immersion therapy where you get close to them slowly but surely over time because, well, they can actually hurt you. And the same with spiders. So, definitely not an easy one, and there isn't a real easy answer. I wish there was because it's something that we would really like to be able to be free of also. Yeah, it can be understandable that you'd worry about somebody finding it if it was a journal or a book. That definitely makes sense. Maybe do it on the computer, and then you can lock it under like a zip file. So make it private so only you guys could see it. That would be a good option. Or you could leave yourself, you know, some sort of other method like phone messages. You know, they could call from a different phone and leave a message. That's certainly possible too. I can definitely understand the desire to keep it private. We actually have a couple of different journals and we are very careful to keep them away from prying eyes also, so that's definitely something we can relate to. And we write a lot of lists too, actually, mostly just to try to remember what the heck we were doing or what we're supposed to be doing. But we definitely write a lot of lists down to keep track of anything that anybody needed or wanted. So it's definitely understandable too. We can relate to that. Awesome. You're very welcome for the tips, and I hope they help. I really do. Yeah, it definitely helps to have some sort of method of communication. Definitely whatever's most comfortable is the best option. If that's leaving each other video messages, if that's sending a text message or just writing a text and then just leaving it to sit there for the next person to find, that's something that we've actually done before where if there was someone out who I can't communicate with, they would write down a message on our phone and just leave it there where I could find it. And that was actually something that helped us to communicate. So, it's whatever works for you and is most comfortable is the best option. Whatever makes you guys all feel safe. That is the biggest thing. It's what makes you feel safe and comfortable because you can't really communicate if you're not feeling safe. Yeah, it can be really hard figuring out who everybody is. I mean, we have several system members that I don't have any idea what their name is either, so I can definitely relate to that. Um, we actually have one system member who's been showing up more frequently recently, who I have no idea what his name is. He doesn't really seem to want to talk right now, so I'm hoping eventually he'll feel more comfortable and be willing to communicate. But yeah, it's definitely not easy when you're not sure exactly who's there. Um, my recommendation is if you feel that person close by, try to do things to help them to feel safe. Just, talk internally or even out loud if you need to, and just let them know, hey, it's safe. If you want to talk, here's some options. And, I'll just leave these here for you and you can use them if you want. Just don't put any pressure because if you try to pressure them, sometimes that's going to backfire and then they're going to want to communicate with you even less. So just, make it known that here's some options for communicating and just let them come to you at their own pace. Okay, well, that's fine. We completely understand. We have dogs. We actually have 3 of them. A big one and 2 small ones. So it's definitely understandable to need to go keep an eye on them. You just come back whenever you're ready and whenever you've dealt with what you need to. That's fine. Oh, got a random loose hair there. Yeah, that can be an interesting one. I've definitely experienced that also, where someone is trying to communicate with you by just sharing bits and pieces of memory, and it's definitely very confusing. Um, a lot of times, in our experience, if someone is sharing in memory pieces like that, it's because they're trying to be open, but maybe they're still feeling very scared or very uncomfortable, or maybe your mind's not completely ready to process all of that yet. Unfortunately, the only thing that really helps with that is just time. It's not something that can be forced. And honestly, the only thing that's ever worked for us was just to keep reassuring everybody that it's safe and that it's okay to talk and that we're here if they need anything, and just leaving avenues for communication open, and just everybody comes and talks when they're ready and in their own time. But I can definitely understand why it's not a fun experience, and it's definitely kind of frustrating, at least personally, when you're getting these memories and you don't really know who they're from or what they're really about. I can definitely see why that's not a fun time. Sign language can definitely be a good one, because there can definitely be others who are not able to speak. They could be mute, or they could be hearing impaired. So that's definitely a good option, especially if they maybe can't read or write, but they can understand the sign. That can definitely help, because a lot of times when one person learns something, muscle memory takes over enough that other system members can use it, like drawing or painting or sign language. So that's something that a lot of times can be shared from one person to another. So that's definitely a great option. Oh, you got a yellow lab, a black English lab, and a Boston Terrier. Wow, that's an interesting eclectic mix. Oh, and 2 cats. Yeah, we've got a French Mastiff, a Japanese Chin Yorkie mix, who has been my dog since I was 18. So she's gonna be 11 now. She's getting kind of old. She's my little old lady. And then we have a miniature Schnauzer, who is my mother's dog. And unfortunately, we can't have cats because I'm very, very allergic to them. We did have them in the past, and I was really sad when we had to find them a new home. But it got to the point that I couldn't breathe, so unfortunately, it wasn't an option to keep them. But now, besides the dogs, we have 2 hamsters that are my mother's, 2 guinea pigs, and a bird. We used to have frogs. They were little aquatic frogs, but unfortunately, they ate each other and escaped from the tank no matter how many times we tried to keep them in, so we don't have them anymore. Yeah, pets are really nice. I mean, it honestly, for us, we find it's really grounding to have something that requires our care. It helps to keep us grounded in the present and help whoever it is who's out at the time to know that, oh, hey, I need to go take care of these animals. It helps us to stay more stable. And honestly, I think it's the same with, for me, taking care of my daughter, is because, she needs me. And so if someone else is out, they're like, oh, hey, there's a small child, and this small child needs care, and I will do that. So it's definitely good, at least for us. Yeah, speaking another language is definitely a possibility. Um, for us, for instance, we have Ruska, who is Russian, and when she first showed up in our system, she didn't speak any English. Nowadays, she speaks fluent English, and she hasn't used a lot of the Russian in a while, so it's not quite as good as it used to be. She's a little rusty on some of her Russian, but she still speaks fairly fluent Russian. And she does have a very strong accent, but that definitely can be a contributing factor because there can definitely be people who speak a completely different language. We met another system, for instance, who had a little who spoke only Dutch. She didn't know any English. And they were working on learning Dutch, and she was working on learning English so they could communicate with her. Because that can definitely be a definite barrier when you don't speak the same language. That's difficult. Google Translate, however, is definitely your friend if you find out somebody speaks another language. That can be a really great tool if you don't know the language yourself. Yeah, frogs are not known for being the most polite creatures sometimes, and they can cannibalize each other, unfortunately. We didn't know that when we bought them, or we wouldn't have put them together. But I mean, the people at the pet store said that the frogs should live in communities, so we put them in a community. And I guess the two large females didn't like one of the other females, and yeah, that was actually really kind of sad. Yeah, definitely, definitely. We've personally had the experience of one person is out and we're watching something about DID or being involved in something about DID or OSDD, and all of a sudden it's like everybody wants to participate, and we'll get rapid switching or a lot of blending or a lot of bleed through or co-fronting, or all of a sudden there's a lot of people co-conscious, and then it creates this uncomfortable pressure headache because too many people trying to participate all at the same time. So yeah, we can definitely relate to that. Um, like for instance, we watched the movie The Three Faces of Eve because we were curious of seeing, because somebody had said that this was actually a positive representation of DID, and so we wanted to see for ourselves. And there was definitely a lot of switching happening while watching that. So we've learned to be careful if we're going to watch anything about DID to make sure that, we're in a safe place, like at home. And when it comes to DID chats, yeah, that can be definitely a hard one. We've had a lot of switching in there. We actually have a support group online that we participate in that has a chat specifically for the littles. So that's always nice because then we can let them go there and talk to other people who are close to their own age and who understand their experiences as being a little person in a big body. So, it can definitely be a positive thing and also a very exhausting thing when there's lots and lots of switching happening. Yeah, it was definitely interesting to find out about a little who spoke completely a different language from everyone else in the system. I was like, wow, that's not easy. We haven't had that experience in years, so it was definitely something we could relate to, but it was one of those ones where it's like, Dutch is a hard language to learn. And glad to hear that you were able to communicate with your roommate, because it can definitely be hard to learn a new language. So some people actually have an easier time than others. You might be one of those people. That's certainly possible. Yeah, headaches, not a fun time. Personally, I'm the one who gets the most headaches when it comes to switching. I don't know if that's because I'm out the most. I don't know if that's because I'm the host. I don't know. Um, I do know that neurologically speaking, the prevailing theory is that each individual system member is relegated to their own little neural pathway. And so if a neural pathway isn't used as much, it can cause a headache. So, we're figuring that's probably for us why we get a lot of headaches is because somebody suddenly comes close to the front or comes forward who isn't normally out. And so our poor brain goes, wait, I'm not used to doing this. And then it hurts. It's definitely not fun. Well, it's cool that you're learning multiple languages. Why out of guilt? Why would you feel guilty and needing to learn another language? That's no fun. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's definitely nice to feel normal, trust me. It's talking with other people with DID, it can make you feel like, wow, have you been living my life? Because there's just so much similarity and understanding, even when you have very different systems and you have very different things going on, whether they're a person with DID or OSDD. It it's really nice to be able to feel like you can relate to somebody. So I definitely get that, and I'm really glad that we make you feel normal because it is a nice feeling. It really is. I'm sorry you had a weird fuzzy feeling in your head. That's not fun. Are you okay? Ah, okay. I can see now why you'd feel a little bit guilty not knowing the language, but just remember that, if your friends care about you, they wouldn't want you to feel bad. They wouldn't want you to feel like you're doing anything wrong for speaking a language that you've learned that you can speak instead of the language that they speak. I mean, that there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want to learn to speak the same language as them so you can communicate with them in their original mother tongue, then there's nothing wrong with that either. But, definitely, I'm sure your friends wouldn't want you to feel bad. Okay, I will definitely do my best to remember. Rebecca, thank you. Oh, hey, Dan, I did not see you there. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to miss you. It's been a while since we've heard from you. Did you ever end up making a video about your thoughts on originals or cores? Because you had said on our video that you wanted to make a video in response, and we hadn't seen one yet, so we were just wondering if you'd ever made one. Well, Pierre, I would have to say personally, I feel like it's both a negative and a positive. It's a positive because it protects you. It's a natural phenomenon that everybody experiences to some degree or another. But it's a negative in that you miss things and stuff gets lost. So I'd have to say it's probably somewhere in the middle. It depends on the situation whether dissociation feels like a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, in a moment when you need it to protect you, it certainly is good, but if you're trying to have a nice day and all of a sudden you're losing a big chunk of it, it can definitely feel like a negative. So I think it just really depends on the situation. Oh, okay. Well, that's perfectly understandable. College, is important and classes need to come first. So if you guys get the time, definitely make a video. If not, you can just feel free to comment to us. We're fine with that too. It's just whatever works best for you guys. Don't feel like there's any sort of pressure. We're fine either way. Yeah, not being able to remember where your keys are, not a fun time. For us, it's house keys or clothing or money or a piece of paper that we just set down we thought that we needed for a doctor's appointment or a prescription that was written for us from a doctor or any other number of things that we needed that now all of a sudden we can't find because somebody put it somewhere and nobody else remembers where it is. So I definitely relate. That's not a fun time. Sort of, Rebecca. It's sort of like a seesaw. Yeah, that is a good analogy. It's like it goes back and forth and you're never quite sure. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's right in the middle. So definitely that I would say that's a good analogy, yeah. Yeah, definitely everything seems to get lost. We have that experience a lot even though we have good communication. We will have a lot of times where somebody puts something somewhere and nobody else knows where it is and we can't seem to find the person who put it somewhere because they're off doing something somewhere in our inner world and we don't know where they are. And so then we spend the next couple of days looking for it. And then suddenly it pops up because they found it and moved it back somewhere. Everybody else can find it again. And we're like, oh, well, there it is. So yeah, it's definitely not fun to lose things all the time. Another one that is really hard for us is sudden loss of skills. Like, for instance, if one of the littles is really, really close to the front who can't read or write or tie their shoes, for instance, all of a sudden I find myself being unable to remember how to do those things. That's really frustrating sometimes because it's not their fault that they can't do those things. They just don't know how. But, for me as an adult, it feels really frustrating to suddenly not remember how to read or write or tie my shoes. Well, if this person is thinking that you can just get rid of other people you're hearing in your head, no matter the cause of those voices, then you should probably see a new counselor because that's not how mental health works. You can't just make mental health stuff go away. It's not a light switch. You can't turn it on and off. And a good counselor would know that. So this person probably doesn't sound like they're really the best fit for you. Oh, why, thank you. We will definitely think about that. I am so sorry you have horseflies. Horseflies are terrible. They bite. They are not nice. Don't like them. Not at all. Whew. Sorry. Got a whole bunch of people leaning forward because they want to participate too by being, part of what's going on, and it's too many people. Hold on, guys. Just back up a little bit. A little space. Thank you. Okay. The littles get really excited sometimes because they're like, oh, hey, people, we want to talk to the people. And then we've got a whole bunch of small children like this. So, yeah, definitely. It's not productive to have a counselor who is invalidating your experiences like that. It's definitely not good. Yeah, I hear Virginia has a lot of big bugs. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. Bugs, not. Mm-mm. Yeah, we actually live in Nevada, so we live in a desert. So we've got spiders and scorpions and snakes and bees and wasps and all kinds of things. In fact, my husband just last night was walking up to the house and suddenly heard a rattlesnake in one of our bushes. So his response was, "You know what? You can have the bush. I'm just gonna go inside." Yeah, they are all very interested. They always want to be involved, and that's fine. It's just hard when everybody's pressing forward at the same time because it's like, whoa, 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 too many thoughts all at the same time. Yeah, I can see how it would be different for you guys, Pierre, because I remember that you guys are a tulpa system. Um, Having dissociation thrown in there definitely, I'm sure, probably makes that a little bit more interesting. Because I've actually not heard of a tulpa system who had dissociation also, so maybe that's something you guys could make a video about when you have time, because that would certainly be really interesting to hear about. It's always great to learn about other people's experiences. Yeah, it's definitely great. And we really appreciate that you come to our channel to learn more about our experiences. And we're happy to go to your guys's. We have watched some of your guys's videos before. It's always good to learn about different people's experiences. It really is. Oh, hello there, Stephanie. Um, we've discussed it a little bit here and there in some of our videos, but we haven't made a specific video about that. Um, we certainly can, though. So thank you for contributing, and we will definitely make a video about that. Um, yeah, with friendships, it can definitely be difficult because not everybody is aware of the DID, and not everybody is aware about a lot of things actually about us because, we kind of have to feel comfortable enough to share that before we do, even if we've known somebody for a long time. The friends that do know, though, thankfully, are supportive, so that's good. But definitely, we will make a video about that because that is definitely something that I'm sure a lot of people would like advice and tips about if they live with DID or OSDD. And for people who don't, that I'm sure they'd just like to hear about it. So we'll definitely do that. Oh, I'm sorry your phone is going to die, Rebecca. That's no fun. Yep, definitely go ahead and show up to any of our streams or videos anytime you'd like. We're happy to have you. You're very welcome, and I'm glad that you're getting something out of it because that's what we really hope for, is to share as much as we can and help other people to understand as best we possibly can. So, does anybody else have any other thoughts or questions or anything they'd like to share? Anything they'd like to ask? Yeah, definitely relate to that with the littles. Going in stores that have toys. That's that's an experience because all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of little children who are like, "Ooh, that's cool and that's cool and that's cool and can we buy that?" And look at that. I mean, I've been in the store on more than one occasions, and all of a sudden, one of our littles, Low, who was in one of our videos, was out and talking to my husband about, can we buy some candy? So definitely relate, and definitely about the sparkly things. Um, Dinosaurs too actually were a really big interest for a lot of us, so definitely sparkly dinosaurs. That would be Wow, that would be an interesting day. I'm fairly certain I would miss a good portion of the day if they started making sparkly dinosaurs also, so I can definitely feel you on that one. I can see if she's around. I would have to find her because I don't know exactly where she is right now. She's somewhere in our inner world. Let me see if I can get a hold of her because if she's comfortable coming out to talk, then she certainly can. So let me see. Oh, didn't mean to hit the computer. Hi, Pierre. You said you wanted to talk to me, so I'm here. It is kind of like an internal cell phone. Yeah. It's like ring, 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 calling. Where are you? And for me, because I'm a kitty, I'm fairly doing my own thing most of the time, sleeping on the couch, chasing things. I do like to chase things. Because meow, kitty, kitty. It's very interesting being the only cat in our system. It really is. It's like, everybody else, they're wolves or foxes or dingoes or dogs or something, and I'm a cat. Yeah, it definitely is. It's like, oh, hey, are you home? Where'd you go? Are you here? Hi. Oh, that's so awesome. You have the same name as our host. That's cool. So, hi, kid. Yay. Kitty, kitty, kitties. Yay. Um, working real life jobs. Well, because Kit works from home doing the whole YouTube thing and helping people with baking and stuff. It's really not usually that big of a deal because he's usually here at home. So we're just like, yay, whoever's going to be out is out. Yes, so many kits, lots of kits. You know, there was actually another person named Kit on another channel too. What are they called? Jeremy and Alternate Perspective. They have a kit too, but their kit integrated with their host Nan. So, yeah, there seems to be a lot of kits in DID. I don't know. It's a popular name, I guess. Oh, Entropy System has one too? Oh, wow. I guess Kit is a popular name. Goodness. My name is seemingly not as popular. I don't know. Though Marie started watching a show where one of the main characters' name is Kaylee, so I get to feel some representation there, so that's fun. My ears and tail are blonde, like my hair, because inside I have blonde hair. And I have violet eyes, which have slit pupils, and I have furry fingers with little paw pads on the palms and fingers. And then I have kitty feet and a kitty tail. And I have kitty teeth inside and a little bit of whiskeriness here and there. You know, some little whiskers. because it's nice to be able to feel where you're going. Yep, Kaylee the kitty cat. So, do you ever get the desire to chase things, Kit? Because I do. Like, I'm like, we chase the pigeons. I love to chase the pigeons. It's so fun to chase pigeons. I like them. I chase all of the pigeons. Always. I'm most close to Berserker because she's my girlfriend. And I love her. And I'm pretty good friends with Marie because we're getting closer. And I mostly just kind of hang out with whoever happens to be around. I'm a cat. I'm pretty much like, oh, hey, you want to pay attention to me? I'll give you attention when I want attention. Other than that, I'm sleeping. Leave me alone. So you have brown hair, and yes, I can feel where my ears and my tail and everything are, even when I'm out here. And it's weird because I'm like, oh, hey, they're not there. I don't have them. Because I have retractable claws inside. But out here, I'm like, huh, we just have these short little nails and we don't have sharp teeth. But I can feel them move because I can move our outside ears. See? Yes. So much with the on the birds. I want to eat the birds. We don't, you know, I don't chase the pet bird because we have a pet bird. So I don't chase the pet bird because he's a cute little bird and he sings. So I like him because he sings pretty songs. Yeah, definitely opposites attract in our case. Because Berserker, she's a big, tough, scary wolf on the outside, but she's really very sweet on the inside. And then I'm very bubbly and kitty on the inside and the outside. Really, I'm pretty much just what you see is what you get. Interpose. I don't know what that word means. What's interpose mean? I don't know what that word means. Yeah, we do have other pets. We have hamsters and guinea pigs and dogs. We have dogs. I'm leaving these on because Kit needs them to see, and when he comes back, he would be really blind. So I'm just going to leave them on because I really only ever need glasses to read out here because our body's eyes are a little bit ugh. But I can see really well otherwise, so I don't really need them. But I'll just leave them on. Yes, curling up in laps and getting petted. Kit's husband, every once in a while, I'll be like, I want you to pet me. Pet me, I am a kitty. And then he will pet my head, and then I'm happy. Because Kit's husband actually has a kitty in his system too. And so we're like, yay, kitty power. And we relate. So it's nice. Because the kitty in his system, Tandy, is dating Marie in our system. So yay, lots of love. Spread it all around. Go ahead and make a video then, because I have no idea what interpose means. I am a confused kitty. I mean, Berserker and I can co-front, where, like, she's here and I'm here and we're sharing the body, and we can both move it at the same time, though I'm moving part of it, she's moving the other part of it, so we could do that, if that's what you're talking about, because I don't know what that word means. But I love her so much. She's so nice. She's the best girlfriend ever, guys. Because she might be all big and tough and protectory, but she's just, she makes me feel safe. And she pets me. And she's okay with me wanting to just do my own thing. And, you know, we get to stay up at night because she doesn't sleep. And, you know, she patrols and I wander around and play with balls of yarn. Because yarn. Chasing yarn. Yeah, we can switch pretty easy most of the time. I mean, if whoever is up here is like, hey, you know, it's cool if you're out here, then yeah, it's pretty easy. It's just like, but if whoever is out front doesn't want to switch, then it's not going to happen because then it's a big fight and that's just exhausting. And I don't have time for that. I don't know. I'm kind of a lazy kitty. I don't I don't want to do all that hard work of trying to actually fight to be out here. That would just be icky. Possession, is that like taking control of the body completely and just could you explain that? I am a confused kitty. Because I really don't know all that much about how the whole tulpa thing works. I mean, Kit's watched some of your guys' videos, but I wasn't there, so I don't really have all that same information. They sprayed you with what? Like a water bottle or something? That's mean. And how terrible calling you a freak. That's rude. I would I would just have to fight the urge to bite them. Cuz ugh. I don't do rude people. That's just not cool. I mean seriously, who sprays somebody with anything? Especially at work. Aren't you supposed to be professionals at work wherever it is? I mean, I don't know where you guys work, but I mean, aren't people at work supposed to be professional? Spraying somebody with something just doesn't sound like what you would do. That just seems really messed up. Oh my god, why do these glasses keep trying to fall off? I might just have to take them off and stick them in the shirt pocket because they're making me crazy. Yeah, I'm just going to put these right in there. That way he'll know exactly where they are. Oh, but wait, I need them to read. Oh, one of those faucet sprayer things. That's mean. I would have wanted to claw their eyes out too. What a jerk. Ugh. Makes me bristly just thinking about it. Ugh, water. Yuck. So it's okay, so it's like you're co-fronting. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah, for us, a switch can be a co-fronting switch or a complete switch or uh, whoever it was out front gets to go to sleep because, well, we. So, yeah, our switches are a little complicated sometimes. Yeah, that's definitely random and not nice. And it's cool that you're friends, though. I mean, yay, friends. It's nice to have friends. Being a kitty, I'm big on friends when I want them. And then the rest of the time, I kind of just like to do my own thing and lay in the sun and whatnot. But I know some kitties are more hang out and cuddle kitties, and some kitties are more be by themselves. And I'm more of a be by myself kind of kitty. Yay, cuddles. I like cuddles. Why the face, though? Like, of all places, why her face? I don't know if that would hurt. I think it would probably just be really heavy. Because people bodies tend to be a lot heavier than kitty bodies. So I'm pretty sure you'd probably just feel really heavy. But why the face? Ooh, it's interesting when I get close. Oh, okay, like the curl up on top of your head thing. Yeah, that is fun. I like to do the whole curl up on top of things. I like to be up high. Meow, kitty kitty, up high. Sometimes in our inner world, I will actually lay across Berserker's shoulders when she's sitting on the couch. So, kind of like that, like where you're all curled up. I can do that. That's fun. Yay, kitty cuddles. Oh, hmm. I don't think I've ever actually measured myself. I am taller than our body out here. I do know that. But I don't think I've ever actually measured myself. I don't really know how tall I am. Hmm. I know that Berserker and I are about the same height. And I know she's taller than our body. She's like, I don't know, 5'10", I think. So I'd probably be like 5'9". I don't know. Yay. Yay with the swirling around the shoulders and the cuddling. Yay. Kitty cuddles. Yes, very much with the kitty cuddles. I like to be the cuddly kitty when I'm in the mood to cuddle. Every once in a while, when I'll be the one out and something happens and I'll be like, and then people are like, what are you doing? I'm just like, nothing. I had a hair in my throat. Got to make excuses for the kitty noises because people look at you like you're weird. And it's sad because I want to be able to just make my kitty noises and be free and climb trees and chase the birds, possibly eat the birds. I mean, I would cook them first because we do have a humanish body out here, so, don't want to get a disease. Yeah, being a bigger kitty makes sense. You'd be really tall. Yeah, it'd be cool if you guys could post pictures. I have no idea how that kind of stuff works though, because I don't really know all that much about computers and stuff. I'm not quite as technologically illiterate as Marie, but I'm not like super great at tech stuff. I'm good at driving, so I can drive. Yay for being able to work a car. Yes. I mostly make up for my desire to eat birds by eating a lot of chicken out here. And sometimes fish. I will eat the fish. Chicken and fish. Ooh, red birds are pretty. It's fun to chase the colorful birds because they're just, you can see them everywhere. They cannot hide. No camouflage for the brightly colored birdies. Well, it makes sense then if, your host is 6'3", it probably wouldn't seem that tall. I mean, our body's 5'1", so that seems tall. But I guess it's kind of relative, you know? Chicken. Ooh, what's your favorite kind of chicken? My favorite is the kind that comes on the diddly bobby thing. Rotisserie. Yeah, I like rotisserie chicken. It's so good. I love it. Ooh, shrimp. Ooh, yes. Little shrimpies. We have frozen shrimp in our freezer right now. I might have to have some for lunch. That sounds yummy. Fried chicken is good. It's crunchy. Riley is Southern in here, and she makes really good fried chicken, inside and outside. She's really good at making fried chicken. It's so juicy and crispy on the outside with her magical mix of breadcrumbs. Ooh, Cornish game hens. We used to eat those when we would go camping. It's like having your own tiny chicken all to yourself. You get a whole chicken. Who doesn't love having a whole chicken? I mean, really. Yay. Grr. Chicken. Chicken. All this talking about food is making me hungry. I love food. I love food a lot. I am very hungry kitty. But I run around a lot, so I have lots of energy. So it makes sense that I would need to eat a lot of food. Because I chase and I climb and then I sleep. Because yay, kitty sleep. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. It's hard when somebody really, really doesn't like something. Like, our host Kit, he likes shrimp, but he's not really big on fish. I like fish. But he did find a recipe for fish that he actually really liked, so yay, more fish. Because he took fish and he crusted it with a mix of coconut. It was unsweetened coconut, orange, like dried orange peel, and thyme. And he really liked that. So now he has a recipe that he likes for fish. So that means that if I want to eat fish, I can come out here and I can make fish like that. And then he'll be okay with it when he comes back. Yay, fish. Yeah, just that whole little game hen, and you just eat it all. Tilapia with lemon pepper. I've not had lemon and pepper on fish before. Just lemon. Hi. I like your name. Kiwi. Is that like the fruit, the bird, or the people? Which kind of kiwi? Ooh. This carpet is very nice for kneading. Knead the carpet. Don't mind me. I am a kitty. So the fruit and the bird. Okay. Aren't kiwi birds able to lay eggs that are way bigger than their body or something crazy like that? I'm kneading the carpet because I am a kitty and it feels nice. Okay. Go enjoy your shower. I do not like water. I make Kit take the showers. I don't like water. It's icky. It's so fun because you have the same name as our host Kit, so it's confusing but nice all at the same time. Yay, kitties. Kitty, kitty, kitties. Yeah, definitely check that out because our host Kit said that kiwi birds lay like really big eggs in comparison to their body size. So, I don't know. I love eggs. Eggs are tasty. Getting hungry. So, Kit, do you like to knead carpet too? Because it's really nice. Have you ever tried it? Because if you haven't, you should try it. Yeah, they are really small. Aren't they like that big or something? Just tiny little itty bitty birds. Munch, 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 munch. Anyway, now that I'm done kneading the carpet, sorry, distracted kitty. Ooh, fluffy blankets. Fluffy blankets are just nice because they're soft. And not only can you knead the fluffy blanket, but you can rub against it and cuddle it. Fluffy. Plus, it's really nice to have something soft and fluffy because then even when you're in a body that doesn't have all the fur, you can feel like you have the fur. And it's all cuddly and warm. We have a furry face today. Our host Kit forgot to shave. I'll have to remind him to do that. Because fuzzy face. It's like having whiskers, only tiny. Well, it says it's been an hour and 44 minutes, so we should probably end here because I'm honestly starving now after all this talk about food. Food. We actually had acrylic nails once. I can't remember who put them on us, but somebody in our system was like, I want nails, and went and got them. Kit was like, what? What? What's this? Yes, 20. 20. All right, well, I guess I will say goodbye to everybody then, since our host Kit went somewhere. I don't know. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's still sitting here watching. There's just so many people up here at the same time. I kind of lost track of where he was for a minute. But I guess I will say goodbye to you guys because I am now a very starving kitty and need to go eat. Meow. Food. I'm basically that kitty that walks around going, meow, feed me. So I'm going to go eat. Bye. Everybody have a great day and go enjoy lovely foods and yummy things whenever it's your next meal time. I'll type bye, everybody. There we go. Yep, shrimps. Munch, munch, munch. All right, bye, guys. How do I... there it is.